Hello everybody, this is John and this is the Merschman Seeds Ag Weather Outlook, January 27th, 2018. Well, at the current time you can see here we start to look a little bit more like we're starting to dig out a trough of low pressure again. It's not real deep and most of the area is still, the jet stream's a little bit further north than normal. But when we look at temperatures here, this is at the current time. What we see here is we see this pool of unusually cold weather. Remember, I always say this is that source region, and when you get that dense cold air sitting up in that region, it's just a matter of time before it hits coming south. So right now, at the current time, it looks like we're prone to getting into a period of colder weather. Now, before I get to the forecast, let's take a look at the last week here. Here's your precipitation. Most of this here was in the rain, in the form of some showers, some light rain. It definitely needs it in this area, up to about a ½ inch in a few spots, not nearly enough. This region right here came in the form of snow, and it was very heavy snow. In fact, over 6 inches of snow, and in some cases this is looking like 8 inches of snow in these darker shades of orange right here. So here's your stripe of snow. It's fairly narrow, but within there it's quite deep. But at the current time, because of some milder temperatures here, look at the active snow melt. Orange is indicating melting snow, and the milder temperatures are really working on that snow at the current time to melt some of that. So when we look at how much is on this ground, well, it's not nearly as much. It's really melted. We got some weak spots here where we have some open ground. It looks like just a couple inches right in here, and even in this blue here, this is more like 4 inches. So it looks like we've melted maybe 3 inches or more. So because there's a break before we get the cold air again, it looks like it's going to melt a lot of this snow. And you can see the warmer temperatures over the area over the last week. Red is indicating temperatures tend to around 15 degrees above normal, so the entire Midwest above normal temperatures. Now that's not going to last. I'm going to give you a little hint to the briefing here. Now I mentioned in Missouri, parts of Illinois had a little bit of rain, Kansas, but it's really dry in this region here. We need more rain, including southeast Iowa, northern Illinois, but then the eastern Corn Belt, quite soggy. This area here has been wet, and this goes back all the way till last spring. And then this band right here, that's a bit soggy, and that's due to the recent and past snowfall. So we really have a lot of variability as far as soil moisture. We've got some areas, as indicated in yellow, that we need more rain or snow. We have other areas in green, especially the darker green and blue, that we really don't need much more additional precipitation. So we look at this week, or this is the first 5 days. We start to dig out this trough over the middle part of the nation, and this is that familiar pattern. But you don't see that shade of blue in here, and that's indicating that it's not all that deep, at least in the first 5 days. And when we look at the temperature pattern over the first 5 days, you can see this cold air still sort of holding up in this region here, but it's getting deeper, it's getting more intense. Look at all the purple in here. That's over 10 degrees below normal. But still, for the first 5 days, we just don't see it too much other than the far, far upper Midwest. Now, over the next 7 days, we're going to have several pushes of cold air. This is one later this week. You can see each one of these. This is cooler air, then this is your real cold air. This is on Wednesday. And with each one of these, there's going to be a chance of some rain or some light snow. I wanted to did mention here, I want to mention that unfortunately, where the most rain is going to fall is where we don't need it, Kentucky and Ohio. And where we do need more rain, it does not look like all that much. So over the next 7 days, there will be some snow. This is with the second system coming in later this week, the real cold Arctic air. And as we get into the 6 to 10 day range, this is the 1st through the 6th of February, you can really see now, here's the pattern. Here's your polar vortex. Look at this. It's displaced well to the south, cold air pushing in right here, and you can see where the coldest air is. Now the departures of 10 degrees or more are going to be confined up in this region right here, central part of the Corn Belt into the eastern Corn Belt, it looks like more like 2 to about 5 degrees below normal in here, at least early on. But this is sinking to the south, so as we get into that 6 to 10 day range, it looks like much colder temperatures. Then February 6th through 11th, the pattern's about the same here. This is the 11 to 14 day range, and look at this here. So we're transitioning back into this deep freeze with below normal temperatures. We're going to have two transitions. The first one, a little bit cooler air early this week, but it's not going to be till later this week that we usher in the coldest air and get really that 5 to 15 to 20 degrees below normal. I don't necessarily see this being as cold as the one we had earlier this season, but it's still going to be unusually cold. Okay, so precipitation anomalies, well, unfortunately, looks like Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And look at this week 2. I had to go back and forth here to make sure I had the right image, but this is the right image. Again, looks like parts of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio are going to be unusually wet. So as far as trends go, it looks like back to unusually cold winter temperatures, and unfortunately, continued soggy eastern Corn Belt states, heavy precipitation February 1st and 2nd in that area, at least the potential. So active weather ahead, but I think the biggest story is going to be those two, one on temperature, the unusually cold winter temperatures, and the second one, continued heavy precipitation over parts of the eastern Corn Belt. Hope you all have a great week. Talk to you again next weekend.